Hello and welcome to the Planet Beer TV speed dating sessions from the backstage at Rivington Farm Trip 2024.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Paul, what are we doing today?
This place, Chris, is packed to the rafters with quality breweries, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to get to know as many of them as we possibly can.
Yeah, so we're going to do quick 15-minute sessions where we're going to ask them questions, a bit like speed dating.
Yeah, a bit like speed dating.
So we can ask them like, who are you? What do you do? How much money are you on?
What's your relationship like with your parents?
Will you marry me?
That kind of thing.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends who comes in.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a lot of breweries to get through, plenty of content. So today, who we got, Paul?
Today's brewery is
Celestial Beerworks.
This is quite exciting for us because
This is the one we wanted.
Yeah, we've traversed the UK. We've gone to Europe.
Yep.
But man, are we going further afield now? You might have heard of a place called America.
Maybe.
This is really exciting for us. So we have Matt from Celestial.
Yep.
Hello.
Happy to be here. Well, I'm super pumped that we made it all the way here. It was a very long ride on our horses to get to the UK. It took me a while. We drowned a few, but we made it. Yeah.
Because as we know, that's how all Americans,
all Texans.
Yeah.
So hang on, don't give the game away. We're going to sort of narrow down.
Sorry.
He's already give the game away. So we have Celestial Beerworks from Texas.
I still don't know where.
Now we got to figure out where.
My guess would be Austin because Austin's got that thing where they say, keep Austin weird. I've been to Austin. It's great.
You say Matt's
weird.
Also,
we are weird. We are weird.
I do know where you're from, though. So I'm not.
We tried. Austin kicked us out. We were too weird, so we had to go elsewhere.
So first question, though, Matt. Just give us the lowdown. Where are you from? What you all about? Give us the skinny on it, mate.
Yeah, so we are actually from Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
So it's kind of the isolated North Texas area where, it's weird, it's hot. We try to keep people's thirst quenched, but yeah, we're a brewery, tap room. We're kind of new to the export game, so we've been doing it for a few years, but this is our second opportunity to come to Europe. Awesome. The first time was Poland. This is the first time in the UK. So
is it Beer Geek Madness?
Beer Geek Madness, yeah.
Awesome,
so that was fun, and then so we do a lot of hazies. We kind of do a lot of the hits. We're well known for IPAs, but we have fun with stouts, fruited sours. Lagers, that's a big thing more in Texas. It's so hot that we do a lot of light beers that are, but we try to do like European style lagers, like Italian Pilsner. We do a Polish lager.
Oh wow!
But then we do some more. Right now we have a fest beer on,
nice.
And then but besides that, you name it, double, triple IPAs. That's kind of our bread and butter.
So you're doing the works.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, the beer works.
The beer works. We are. It's in the name.
See
there you go.
Works. That's good. Okay,
but we really do. We have to do everything these days. So.
How big's the operation over there?
We are brewing on as of a year ago, we switched to a production facility, and we're doing about in the hectoliter game. We're about 35 hex per batch. Wow. So we do have a good mix of like smaller and bigger tanks. So we're able to kind of, if we're doing something that's more wacky or something more experimental, we can do like 12 hectoliters or so. If we're doing something that we're going to distribute widely, either 20, 24 to 35 hectoliter tanks for those. So
I've noticed that you guys have made a bit of a concerted push over here at the moment because obviously you've got the stuff that you've been doing with Rivi.
Yeah,
I think in our local bottle shop there was a Flock and a collaboration
and maybe an Equilibrium you might have seen too.
Yeah. You guys have
Yeah. So we definitely do a lot of collabs as well.
Flexing your muscles.
Yeah. No, we figured if we're gonna make a big drop here, we'll send some fun stuff and make sure it's cool. And we wanted to coincide it with the festival where we could where it makes someone might see our name, but they might see Rivington or see Flock next to it and be like, oh, cool, like they're friends and like
nice.
Hopefully it would help draw some attention. So
you've picked the right place to drop, I think. But I've got a fridge full of your stuff. I got it through Brew Export, as you mentioned. So it's weird from not knowing who you were 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So now, it's like
hello.
So what's going? Matt from Celestials at Rivington Farm.
Yeah, the
Get
hype
him on.
built
No,
really
that's cool.
quick. Yeah.
I didn't think
excellent.
anyone would know us. I thought we'd be kind of like sneaking through the cracks, like
I know,
just have some beer.
no,
so.
It was funny because we came up here 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, to do some filming for a different thing with Ben. And he was just raving about you anyway, and he said, "Yeah, there's collaborations happening.
Cool.
And, get on them." And then I think I went on Brew Expo the next day or something. And went, okay.
Yeah, that was our first. That was our first, I guess, like drop in the UK. Was sort of I think whoever runs Brew Export, Shannon is from the States, like Chicago or Michigan or something, and she had reached out over the years, and like I think we just kind of. Like it never happened, and then it happened that I want to say it was in May we sent some beer, so there's maybe still some of that, and then working with Ben, and this last drop was Distant Lands, so they brought it in. So
I used to work in the industry, so I know the importers and distributors.
So we don't do it's not a big part of the business, but it's fun. I mean, it helps us get it's something that I'd say post pandemic we kind of started getting approached for more import things. UK is definitely a new market for us. But like Europe, we've been sending beer there for a couple years. But
it's a strange phenomenon in the UK at the moment because with all the hardship in the world and global crisis and stuff, American beer seems to be
taken off like never before.
Really?
On the upswing, and obviously it's going to be hugely expensive.
Oh, I know.
Because how ridiculous import nonsense we've got going on at the
And
moment.
the freight, they fly it over here. It's expensive.
Oh man! But it for some reason it seems to be connecting with people. I think that's because really people are kind of bored of quantity over quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I think really good quality American beer is scratching a big itch for people, and they're willing to spend a lot more on it. And well, I mean, certainly I am.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So it's a hot day. I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt on this.
You're thirsty.
It's a hot day. I'm getting thirsty, and we've asked you to bring along a beer that is perhaps most exciting for you right now that you'll really enjoy. You've actually bought two, which we're not going to argue with.
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys wanted one or two, so I figured.
Err on the side of caution.
I mean, we don't drink ourselves, so it's whatever. But something has caught my eye.
Yeah.
As an area of interest, which is this one here.
Okay. Yeah. So this one is this is a beer we've been making probably since 2019. We've been making a beer called Tropic, which was like a sort of just a taproom experiment that kind of people really enjoyed. It was sort of just an accident. We were trying to make a pina colada kind of sour beer, like Berliner Weiss.
This is right up your street, isn't it?
This is right not up yours.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I will say I'm a bit of a sour. How do you describe it?
Famously averse to smoothie sours.
Oh yeah. This one's not too tart. This one will be. This is kind of it's like I'd call it like a time machine. It'll like transport you to like an island. So it's like it's like more of like an island drink. But yeah, it's definitely has a lot of fruit in there. It's not a super thick sour, but it's the flavor is really nice. But
it's a Berliner Weiss.
It's a Berliner Weiss. That's the base, and then it's definitely like I'd say threads the needle of smoothie and just like heavily fruited sour. So
awesome. It's actually a style. I mean, smoothie sour particularly. I think pretty much you guys, as in like Americans, can absolutely lay claim to it.
Yeah.
But it's a style which you guys are literally synonymous for, and we have a lot of English breweries that kind of try to also do it.
Yeah. We don't export a lot of these beers.
Look
so
at the color
it's
of that.
it's a little bit maybe more separated than I had expected, but it usually is just like a nice purple color. It may have a little bit of beer. It may have like
we'll blame the transport.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I mean, we're essentially looking at a beer with a purple
foam.
head.
It's usually fully purple. So, anyways, now I know. Okay, maybe transport is a little tricky, but yeah. So basically, it's typically more.
Oh my!
But it's just
God,
like
you madman! What is this? Can I have a picture?
Yeah, but we're looking at like a.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There's a coconut in that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of coconut in that.
Yeah, I mean, there's
quite a bit of coconut, pineapple, coconut, and then ube is like a purple. Ube is more of like a sweet potato, so it's like more of a Filipino kind of ingredient. You'll see it more in like boba tea, and like pastries and things like that. So,
mate,
so
that is sorry. I'll come back. I'll come back to the microphone.
Yeah,
that is something else. And again, I'm a you can hear Jack behind the camera making weird sex noises.
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely like a kind of a nice. The coconut's pretty solid on it. The pineapple's there. It's just a kind of a fun beer.
I mean, I'm going to level with you. It's the most repulsive looking beer I've ever drank.
Usually it doesn't look this bad.
It tastes fucking delicious.
It looks like shit right now. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like, oh man, well, that's a new test. But I mean, the flavor's nice. Appearance is looking a little rough, but really the big part is like, looking for like the ube kind of complements the coconut. It's like it's not a super flavorful ingredient, but it's
Is it more for color? Than
flavor? For sure. Yeah, more for color, and then the flavor, it's like a nutty.
Yeah.
I think it kind of enhances the nuttiness of the coconut. So like,
and you know what's really good about it? It's so fucking refreshing.
Yeah,
it literally is.
And it's not super sweet. Like it's sweet, but it's not as thick and chunky. But
it's creamy, but not thick.
Yeah,
it's fruity, but not like overpowering.
It's got a nice little fragrance to it as well.
Yeah,
That's a really great beer.
Yeah. So something. Yeah, it's definitely
it's interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. Something a little bit different.
I love that, mate.
Pineapple element is totally shining through.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Super pineapple bomb. Yeah.
So as we're enjoying this, and if you listen to this on the podcast and not watch it on YouTube, the only way to describe this in terms of colour is Barney the dinosaur has been blended.
Yeah. Basically, it's kind of Barney. We murdered him. We stuck him in there. Yeah, we blended him up. Yeah,
Barney through the Hoover.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good beer name actually. Tell us a little bit about your influences. So what's the beer scene like where you're from back then?
I would say it's still. I'd say it's similar to the craft scene, like across the world in a way. Like, a still big heavy emphasis on IPA. So we opened in 2018, so we're almost 6 years old. And we were one of two probably hazy breweries to kind of start the wave in Dallas. There's still not a lot of like hazy producers, I'd say, but it seems like, people still want. We try to be as transparent and like honest as possible about like what's going into the beers. Like here's the malt, here's the hops. We do our best. Packaging IPAs is a beast. It's hard to make. Like making them is a challenge, but we want to make sure it's not lost when we package it. So we invested in like a really good canning line, some tech to make sure like, hey, these cans aren't gonna oxidize quickly. So it's like, one of our biggest focuses is quality, and then also like trying. So that's sort of where our scene is at. Is a lot of the more quality brewers are making the smallest amounts of beer. So so like not that all the like Dallas makes good beer, but a lot of the higher volume beers are just not what is super trendy. So
I'm always intrigued by the American beer scene, mainly because one, you are, or you were decades in front of everyone in terms of this style of beer.
Yeah,
and
still setting the pace as well.
Still setting the pace.
I think like we're saying the smoothie sours. It's like a thing that you guys have started over there.
I think in the past 10 years, the UK has caught up a lot, but there's still trends and patterns that come out of America that people try and emulate, which can't quite match up. But I'm always intrigued about the beer mentality because. Especially somewhere as big as, say, Texas. When you're talking about quality, what comes out of your brewery or goes to your tap room and you want to distribute it across, the state or, across state lines or into other countries. How good or how important is the American supply chain? Because do you do cold chaining? Is there setups for that? Are you happy about how that's run?
It's we cold chain. So we in I guess in Dallas, like that's where most of our beer sold. We cold chain all the way to the delivery point. Like so we self distribute our beer. But I would say with let's say retailers and like let's say grocery stores or like small mom and pop places, it's still a challenge to educate them on like we get a lot of pushback from our bigger chains. We're the only. I found this out this week. We are the only brewery in the state of Texas that one of the biggest chains that sells beer that requests refrigeration like not necessarily on the shelf, like in the cooler, but like in the back stock, like where we store extra.
Brilliant. That is brilliant.
Yeah, but we also we've had some good luck selling a lot more beer through those places. But we're the only brewery out of 100 brands that they sell that's requesting that. So there's a lot of and they still ask us why. Like, why do you need to keep beer cold? I'm like, well, it has a shelf life. It's not, impervious to the elements, and
Yeah, but they're asking though, aren't
is
they?
this
And
a
that's really
thing?
important.
yeah.
Is this thing, because in the UK, and this is something that I don't think translates well to an American thing. So, with the UK being so small,
Yeah.
supermarkets are like they're kind of like they're a curse, aren't they?
Yeah.
If a craft brewery
Yeah.
goes into supermarkets,
Yeah.
it's usually like they've sold out, or
Yeah.
it's like a death knell sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I think in America it's different because there's a lot more. For one, there's more regional based supermarkets
For sure. Yeah. Yeah.
but obviously the scale of everything is just so much bigger.
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
terms of like being able to get hold of beer,
yeah.
it's more difficult. So is there like a thing where perhaps not saying do you sell into supermarkets,
Yeah,
but is
yeah.
that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. So we actually have a really good regional supermarket in Texas that's only in Texas, and they sell more beer than anyone in the state. So you're not forced to work with them, but they're actually pretty good to work with.
Yeah.
But they're and they don't order too much. Like, they're pretty good at, like, they won't buy a pallet of beer and let it sit on the floor for a month to sell through it. Like, we can do weekly deliveries with them, but still educating them on, hey, beer is like, delicate. Like, you can't just throw it in the corner and forget about it. Like,
Yeah.
and so it's been a challenge to kind of teach them and show them, like, maybe one of the reasons people enjoy the beer more than others is, hey, we tried to keep it cold. We try to make sure you guys are selling it fresh.
Bringing me on to my next question on that as well is like, because I'm assuming it's just my head where like America's leagues ahead in terms of things. Your supermarkets, if they're stocking beer or craft beer or whatever, would they put those in fridges?
Yeah.
So over here,
yeah.
like, it'd always be shelf ambient temperature.
Yeah, ours is like 50-50. So it's
Okay.
You get some to get the cold space is hard. The shelf is like a little bit easier to get into, but we kind of demand at least the IPAs for sure. Please put those cold. Like, if it's a lager, as much as we want all the beers to be cold, usually the battle comes down to, like, hey, we can fit they can only put so much beer in the cold space.
I think in the UK it's I think that we'll never catch up with America in regards to beer culture. In fact, like places like Belgium, for example, because it's not ingrained in the culture that the product has to be the best it needs to be to get to the other part of the distribution bit it's going to end up in. And that's because of supermarkets ruining things. So, we don't have supply chains that,
Supply cold.
supply cold. In fact, the one we did have went bust last week. Jolly good beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's a real shame. But that's because of the size of the island, obviously. But it's a shame. It's just a real shame that people just go, I understand what you're doing here, and the reason we're paying a premium is because it's a quality small batch product.
And that's part of it too. Is we try to tell them, like, hey, let's if this beer is going to land at $20 a 4-pack in the US, maybe different here, but we want to make sure that someone's not getting ripped off. Like, it's a good product. Like, they're like, if you're going to spend the money, it's going to be worth it. So
I'm just going to.
This beer is
have to look at I know you're desperate to get into beer, but I also have to look at that and say I am the time Nazi.
Yeah, we're on 20 minutes. I don't care. Let's have another beer.
The more he drinks and speaks to people, the looser he's getting.
So tell us a little bit about this one.
This was a collab we were able to. We were working with Ben before the festival. We thought it'd be cool to do a Rivington Celestial collab, just to kind of showcase at the festival and in the UK. So we use a little bit more of his process. Ben was really into using chit malt. So we don't use a lot of it. We've used it before, but he was like, no, we got to use chit malt in this one. So we kind of swapped out some of our malted wheat for more chit. So chit's kind of like a more kind of like an under-modified barley, which is like, it has more maybe protein. Yeah, it's a little bit softer.
This is I mean, this is next level stuff. This is stuff I wasn't even aware of.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's pretty. I'd say it's pretty popular, pretty common practice in the hazies. We don't do it a lot, but I think we might start. But anyways, you get a little bit like softer body, I think, by using shit. So we use a lot of Pilsner malt. I know a lot of the English brewers use more like pale, what do we call it? I guess pale malt, like not Maris, but a little bit more pale stuff. And so yeah, we kind of did a combo of their malt bill plus we agreed upon some hops. Eclipse is an Australian variety. It's it's kind of like the new Galaxy in a way.
Yeah,
super tangerine, very citrusy, like real intense. Like it's a good hop. And then Strata is one of our favorites. American hops, and then Kohai Nelson Hopkeef is a company called Freestyle Hops out of New Zealand that's doing they're taking a lot of hops and then making like extracts out of that. So they're making like there's not a lot of guys doing it this way, but I feel like theirs work pretty well. But this is actually the Kohai Nelson is actually a blend of like it's Nelson hops, Ricau, and then it's passion fruit. So they actually when they make the hop pellets, they're apparently taking passion fruit, drying it, blending that with the hops. So it's actually fruit and hops in there. And then this extract that they make is basically like I think they're taking those pellets and like either steeping them or like running them through I don't know their full process, but they're basically making like sort of like an alcohol tincture. It's like a hop extract that you can't fully use it. It's not a replacement for hops, but it's a good my best description is like it fills in the gaps of the hops of the beer. So you might get a beer that smells good, tastes pretty good, but that Hopkeef kind of helps kind of round it out a little bit. So
that is really good knowledge.
Yeah,
I wasn't aware that was even a thing.
I'm a hop nerd. I love all that stuff. So it's like,
but I would say, Matt, that I reckon probably 90% of the beers we drank this festival in terms of hop forward beers have been based around some kind of New Zealand hop.
Oh yeah,
it's just so seasonal.
And they become more accessible too. I think the price has come down and like
Motueka's all over the place.
Oh yeah, it's a great hop.
What's your favorite hop? If you had to, if I had you over a barrel and was like,
tell me honestly, probably my favorite hop is a New Zealand hop, and it's Ricau. It's Ricau.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I would say Ricau and probably Idaho 7. So Idaho 7 is kind of just a great pineapple forward hop. But this one, I think this is a nice crisp. I feel like our double IPAs don't come out super sweet, so they're you can drink a can if you want to, and then we really focus on aroma. So try to make them as least bitter as possible.
I can smell pineapple in that. Yeah, like there's pineapple in spades there.
This might be a really weird thing to say to an American brewer, but there's I always get it with really good quality American beers, big juicy hop forward beers.
Yeah,
it smells American.
Okay.
And
there's like do you guys have Skittles in America?
Yeah.
So there's like a thing where we say it smells quite Skittlesy.
We always it's like
candy.
It's like a chewy candy.
Yeah.
Smell that kind of just hits you.
Yeah.
The second you put your nose in it.
Oh,
there we go. You've got him.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
So it's kind of like a good. So I think that that passion fruit kind of hop extract like concentrate helps kind of make it a little bit fruitier, but then you get a lot of tangerine, and then Strata is like kind of dank, kind of strawberry.
Oh man, it's like tangerine rind as well.
Yeah, really rind. Like the pith. Yeah, almost. Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
man.
So it's definitely I'd say the dominant hop on this is that Eclipse hop. So it's very very strong, very intense. So yeah,
it's doing a lot of heavy lifting, isn't it? But there's one question we need to ask.
Yeah,
if you could collaborate with any brewery, who would it be? Now, if you were to name one who's here at this festival, that wouldn't be a bad thing, would it?
Yeah, that's true. Who could we do? Maybe it's a two-part answer.
Go for it.
I love Italian pills. This is the long shot, Birrificio Italiano, or is that it? Birrificio Italiano. The guys that make Tipo pills.
Okay.
Tipo pills. Yeah. One of my favorite breweries, beers of all time.
That's a great answer.
That's the dream one. I think
is that because you want to know more about lager in general, or
I just love their beer. I've been to Rome once, and I drug our whole family to like pubs to drink that beer.
Rome is one of the best cities in Europe for craft beer at the moment.
Yeah, it was great.
Spectacular.
It was great. As far as breweries here, honestly, there was Beak is pretty dope. Beak is pretty sick.
There we go. Yeah, Beak.
Yeah.
I mean, you're birds of a feather with this beer with Beak. I think.
They do some good stuff. So
but check out Brew Export. for Celestial Beerworks.
Yeah,
I'm sure you can get them.
Rivington sometimes sell them. Yeah.
And all the collaborations are happening. Check them out. Google them. Do what you need to do, but check them out. They're wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, dude. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.